Hi, my name is Philip Johnson, and I'm doing my presentation on technology and its relationship to literacy. This presentation is based on our article in the Journal of Speech, Language, and Hearing entitled Language and Social Factors in the Use of Cell Phone Technology by Adolescents. So, social media and technology in the classroom and in the lives of our students in general. We all know the students are using social media to communicate with one another. Um, and that's through the means of Facebook and Twitter. And some Instagram is mostly what this study focused on, just in its relation because those have a lot more text-based functionality, whereas your Snapchats and TikToks and stuff like that don't have as much of that aspect that would directly correlate to affecting literacy, or at least in the eyes of the researcher. So that being said, that's the social media that they're referencing. Text messaging is also a big communication part within the use of technology in our devices. Go over that, as well as digital books, um, and basically just your ebooks or iBooks or whatever letter you want to put in front of them, but just digital books in textbook form or whatever, but just on a digital medium. And then audiobooks, just being able to listen to a book. Although that's been around for a while, but having phones and MP3s and fours, just the proliferation of that um, has kind of exploded with the use of us, carrying around a device with us all the time. So these are the pros that were kind of listed, and we'll break out into some more in-depth conversation on it. But people are reading more. There's just more reading that's happening. Just their status is being read, there's text messages being read, there's text messages being written, there's new and fun ways of using language and all those types of things. There's words being invented. There's just a lot going on with reading in a digital space. Students can students can access reading remotely. Um, like I said, they can use it for their phone. There's no more leaving your book at home or you left X, Y, or Z. It's really just, one thing you gotta have with you, that kind of one ring rules them all type of rule. You just have it with you at all times. It can be, easily transported with you at any time, and if you have some downtime, you can read. It's just like phones and tablets and digital things have kind of made reading more accessible. You can gather information in a myriad of ways. There's, Google searching, texting a friend, calling a friend, uh, emailing someone, um, looking up the dictionary. There's just a lot of resources available when you get into the digital space. And then pictures are also available that goes into Googling and just getting the information more readily. So it's just some of the pros of using digital media as well as social media. It's the same thing. There's often picture representations going along with someone's caption, as well as being able to get instant feedback from someone else on what they think about X, Y, or Z. Um, so that's there. But the cons is that because it's all conversational in nature, there's a lot of shorthands, abbreviations, and emojis that kind of spill over into academic writing. So it's conversational language instead of academic, and this goes into the papers that students write and their professional communication as they grow older. So it gets that line gets more and more blurry on what is appropriate for school and what's appropriate just with your friends. And what they're reading, especially if it's on social media, has no academic value. It doesn't expand their mind beyond comprehension. They just can understand what is written and there's no deeper analysis into what they've read. So it leaves them at a level, a, a functioning literate, but it would not get them to a level where they're, synthesizing and analyzing literature. So in with that, audio can be can lead to less reading. So audio is a passive exercise, and reading is an active exercise. So we prefer them to actually be reading something because it's active and they're engaged in it, whereas they're just passively listening to something while something else has their full attention. So does it matter what you read? Does it matter how you read? Um, does it matter, if you're reading a novel on your phone or a text message or just reading a novel like a regular hardback book? When do those things really come into play when a student is deciding what and how to read, or on their ability to acquire more language and improve their literacy? So everything that I've seen has an emphatic yes, it does. So since a student can learn, 0 to 4,000 words in a year, social media can stunt that literacy growth, and it's in a very specific way. Is the reason why the authors propose that, and it's because often the language that is used conversationally is repeated. It's the same thing, same way, especially when it's with the same group of friends, and you don't get to grow your vocabulary or see words used that you know in different ways, and just get the full taste of the literary stew that is out there in the world, when you're kind of confining yourself to like social media, uh, or if that is a type of writing that is meant to improve your literacy, it just won't work. But alas, there's hope, because there's with this is technology with digital books and digitizing books and audiobooks. So audiobooks are they don't have such a great rep either, because audiobooks, they're not to replace reading. They are just meant to supplement it. They give students that extra bit of time, um, to do something else while they're still getting the comprehension part of the reading, or the student that has to work, that can't, give you, 2 hours of reading a night because they have to support their family. Unfortunately, that is a a fact for many students, and can't be completely overlooked. So, and it could be also a good way to differentiate for ELLs that want something to kind of reinforce what they're reading, and then they can hear it while they read it, since we can't always read to the students all the time. So the increase in the use of audiobooks has been like a great thing, especially for differentiating for um, students who struggle to read, as well as English language learners. So in digital textbooks and digital novels and digital reading, that is academic based in general, has had outstanding results. So the big key factor that they pointed out is that the world is going more digital. So everything is more digital, and that students should kind of get into the habit of knowing that the the world is digital, not just for fun and social media and Netflix and Hulu, but it's also there for, productivity. There's a great deal of productivity that can happen um, online, and so it a thing that was brought up was that it could be actually cheaper for the school districts to get digital books instead of hard copy books. The implications on home time is kind of a big deal, because we're all trying to limit screen time for students, especially their parents. They don't want them at home sitting in front of their tablets all the time. So it could cause some friction there, but I think we can find some ways around that. And it could it could easily translate words for ELL so they can associate it with a word in their native language. In the quest to find out whether or not digital or a hardback was better, I think the author staunchly fell on the side of digital being better and being the wave of the future and the way that teachers should lean towards. Try to steer the students away from social media in its bad forms. And even if you have some class discussions through a social media type application, you steer it completely academic, letting them know there's a difference between LinkedIn and Facebook, basically. Um, just kind of setting them up for success and using the correct type of verbiage and increasing their literacy growth throughout. So I am Philip Johnson. Thank you for watching my presentation, and this is the citation for the article.